Jury selection now underway in the highly anticipated Atlanta Public Schools cheating trial. 12 defendants in the courtroom today, along with their 12 attorneys. It could take up to 3 weeks to seat a jury. The trial could take between 6 to 8 months. The Atlanta Public Schools cheating scandal goes back 6 years to 2008 after a dozen schools posted high gains over the previous year's standardized tests. In 2009, a state investigation found overwhelming evidence of cheating at several schools. Superintendent Beverly Hall denied the accusations. In 2010, a bipartisan blue ribbon commission found severe to moderate levels of cheating at dozens of Atlanta elementary schools. In July 2011, an investigation ordered by the governor's office uncovered widespread problems. Then, in March 2013, criminal indictments were issued for 35 APS employees, including former Superintendent Dr. Beverly Hall. Since then, 21 of those defendants reached plea deals. One passed away, and Beverly Hall's trial has been postponed indefinitely.
Joining me right now, longtime Atlanta trial lawyer Paige. Pate, always great to have you, Paige, here. Your thoughts, observations, and musings on all issues relating to the law are always a great help for us to understand things. First, a disclaimer. You represented one of the APS teachers who pleaded earlier guilty. That teacher will not be part of this upcoming trial. Now, the trial is going to be long. It's going to be expensive. There's going to be a lot of public interest. Is there any way that this does not become a spectacle or it becomes a certain amount of theater for everybody?
Well, almost every trial is somewhat a theater production. I mean, there's some amount of drama involved in almost every case. But this is unprecedented. I have not seen a case anywhere in Metro Atlanta with 12 defendants that could possibly take 3, 4, 5 months to try. So it's unusual both in the scope of the number of folks there and the length that the trial is expected.
How does it change the dynamic of all of this with Beverly Hall not being a part of the mix? Does it intensify the magnifying glass on this? And the second part of the question is, if she were involved, then would this have a totally different look?
Well, she's not going to be there at trial, but I do expect the prosecutors will mention her name at every chance they get, because it is still their theory that she was the ringleader. She was the top of this conspiracy to cheat on these tests. So you're going to hear her name throughout this trial, even though she's not there. Now, on the flip side, the defense attorneys will probably be pointing the finger at that empty chair. Where is Dr. Hall? If this was some big conspiracy, why isn't she the person being held responsible for it?
There are 12 defendants. If I'm an attorney, which I'm not, you are, I would be greatly concerned that the jury might not be able to differentiate one from the other. If you're talking about 1 or 2, if you're talking about 12, how do you keep it all straight?
Again, it's a huge number of defendants for one trial. I represented a guy who was in a 6-person trial a couple of months ago, and every chance you get, you have to stand up and remind the jury that I'm talking about this person. I represent this guy and not the other person. Some defendants, though, like that. They may like to hide in the weeds, so to speak, and hope that the jury gets confused about who was more involved, who actually erased scores on the test, and who should be guilty.
Racketeering seems like a very heavy word to use in the midst of this. I think any of us who've lived in Atlanta and have watched all of this unfold have our own view of this. A, can you get a fair trial here? And B, racketeering would almost smack of a sort of political kind of charge. Yes?
Yes, I think the prosecution has really bit an awful lot here, and perhaps they've set the bar too high by charging them with racketeering. There's no question that there was some answer changing going on. I think everybody understands that after the investigation several years ago. The real question is whether the prosecution can prove the elements of a racketeering conspiracy. And that's not just cheating, it's not just making a false statement, it's a lot more than that.
Are these teachers then criminals?
Well, that's what the jury will have to decide, and I don't envy them. You're right that it's going to be difficult to find folks that haven't heard about this case, but Judge Baxter is calling in 400 people. He's going to make sure that even if they knew about it, they still can be impartial.
Paige Pate, thank you, as always. We hope you have a good remainder of your summer.